Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Believe in Bengal podcast right here on Valley Sports, Ohio. Yours truly, Solomon Wilcots. And right now we're joined by a very good friend, 10-year veteran wide receiver, Super Bowl champion with the Baltimore Ravens. He's also the co-host on the Purple pregame and postgame WJZ TV in Baltimore as we get ready for the Cincinnati Bengals and Baltimore Ravens to play in the Thursday night game. We're both kind of feeling a little bit off of our game because we both lost games week 10 in similar fashions with a game-winning field goal as time expired. Now, in that game, the Baltimore Ravens and Cleveland Browns, the Browns never led the game until the very end. They came back from a 15-point deficit. This is something I hate to say it this way, but I was checking the Baltimore Ravens at least 7 times in the last year, since going back to last season, they've allowed opponent to come back from a 14-point deficit and win. You got to help me out. What's going on with the Baltimore Ravens?
So I think part of what we're seeing with the Ravens, they've had this string of starting off fast and strong. And usually in the league, when you have a 14-point advantage over a team, you have this great ability to close out the game and off you go and you're celebrating. But for whatever the reason, for John Harbaugh and his team, I mean, you played dominant football against a team like the Seahawks. You played dominant football against teams like the Lions, but then you have your division opponent. You start off fast, and for whatever the reason, you just can't get it done. So it is a concern, and I think 4 quarters of football is not cliched. They have to figure out how to play better down the stretch.
Yeah, new coach, same culture. It's very interesting because the Browns came back and won that game after trailing 24-9 in the third quarter, and they kicked a game-winning field goal to win that game 33-31. Cincinnati Bengals lose to the Houston Texans, who came in with a red-hot rookie quarterback. So both teams are limping, but these two teams are going to meet. Remember, they played week 2, and that was a game that the Baltimore Ravens came into Paycor Stadium and won. But I got to say this, for the first time, maybe in quite some time, Qadry, these two teams, the Baltimore Ravens and the Bengals, are going to meet with both quarterbacks being healthy, 100% in the lineup. Seems like every time they meet, either Lamar's hurt or he's out of the lineup or something's going on with Joe Burrow. So tell me, what kind of game can we expect with both quarterbacks coming into this one healthy?
You know, it's going to be interesting because I think it's a short week. We know that game planning has its own challenges, but recovery is the huge factor. I know that Ronnie Stanley, he is going to be dealing with an ankle issue. He got rolled up on in the game. Obviously, Marlon Humphrey, he had the non-contact injury. Now they're saying that it is a possible strained calf. You have these plays and situations in games where normal week you have a opportunity to recover, but because it's such a short week, I honestly think it's the battle of attrition and who can execute the best. I know the Bengals are going to be, managing their own issues as far as injuries and who's active, who's not. But that's what makes this game so interesting and special, because it's a division opponent, number one, but then number two, because of it being a short week, how can those role players that will now step into starting positions, how do they handle the bright lights?
Keaton Mitchell, man, I just watched him run wild against Seattle, had another great run against the Cleveland Browns. Cincinnati Bengals fans looking at a team that just gave up 188 yards rushing to the Houston Texans, and now here comes the Ravens, here comes Lamar Jackson. So you got to tell us, who is this Keaton Mitchell kid?
Well, the interesting thing about Keaton, his dad actually played the same time I did on our Super Bowl championship team in 2000. And so it is really cool to see, this young man get his opportunity to play. I think it says an awful lot about the Ravens as an organization to find players like a Keaton Mitchell who you pick him. He's an undrafted rookie free agent. You find a spot for him on a team, and have him just play so incredibly well. He's an explosive player. He's so dynamic, and I think that's what the beauty of his play is that his explosiveness, his dynamic play. And I know that from a larger picture, his confidence is only going to grow as he gets more and more opportunities to play. And it just says an awful lot about him that the moment wasn't too big, and that, by scheming certain plays for him to show off his skill set, it's just only going to get better.
Certainly a talent, but you guys are formidable in your own right. We appreciate the Baltimore Ravens. There's no doubt about it. It's what football really is all about. And the AFC North is the division that I think is the best in all of football. I think football fans are going to get a treat when the two teams meet on Thursday night. Qadry Ismail, 10-year NFL veteran wide receiver, Super Bowl champion. We want to thank you for stopping by the Believe in Bengal podcast right here on Bally Sports Ohio. Thanks again for joining us. All the best to you, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?